Keith, I was playing Dirks Bentley. You know, it's just an old beat up truck. Just to say that I should trade up now that I got some jingle in my pocket. But what they don't understand is it's miles to make a man who trade this thing in for a rocket. What they don't know is my dad and me, we drove her up to Tennessee. She's still here, now he's gone. So I hold on.
Oh yeah, I know that song. I
Just
remember.
an old beat up boxes, rusty strings across the top. It probably don't look like much to you. These dents and scratches in the wood, yeah, that's what makes it sound so good. To me, it's better than brand new. You see this here flat top guitar, have my back in a million bars, singing every country song. So Stephen holds on.
Yeah.
Yeah, to the things I believe in, my faith, your love, my freedom. To the things I can count on to keep me going strong. Stephen holds on. Sorry.
Man, I love.
That's what I was playing with earlier.
All right, beautiful. And
Have
you,
you been to the coffee house, John?
I have not, but I've been meaning to go do that.
this Friday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
I've
might
got
go, I
I've
might
got a
not.
busy Friday ahead of me. I've got a lot. I'm gonna still try. Probably I should be back in time for like Sarah's 18 meeting by 5. But like all day long Friday, I've got crap. I got haircuts and all kinds of stuff going on. Just getting ready to come to Costa Rica, so there's
Yeah, buddy.
a lot of stuff that's got to be handled. Also, Steven, I got I
Excuses.
ordered I ordered a new guitar to take with me. So my new guitar should be. I ordered a Washburn Rover.
All right.
Um, it's a travel guitar. It's kind of like the Martin Backpacker, but it's a Washburn
Okay.
and like $300 cheaper. So it's like Washburn's a good company. I mean they're as old as Martin.
That's
They've
the
been around.
electric that I play here, man. Is a Washburn
Yeah,
hollow body, and I have a
yeah. I mean
Washburn back.
they're one of the oldest guitar companies in the U.S. So I got no problem with Washburn at all.
Yeah, yeah. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How's everybody been this past week?
Good.
Good. How was your class yesterday, Sophia? We were going through a breakthrough at the table again.
Yeah, I figured. It was I think it was a pretty profound class, probably the most one so far. Pretty deep. We got really deep, didn't we, Sarah? I thought. But I posted it on Facebook and because every class has a theme, seems like there's just a certain theme with each class. And yesterday was very interesting. We just went really deep emotionally and stuff into the emotions. So
Any
yeah.
particular emotion or all of them?
Well, basically what we were talking about is that it is important to identify with what you're feeling. It doesn't matter where you are on the scale, and to embrace them and feel them fully. And sometimes, well, usually all the time, right? So you really probably can't get up to the scale successfully if unless you embrace those emotions that you're dealing with at the bottom of the scale. Because if you try to go to the top of the scale and you're like, hey, I'm happy, I'm enthusiastic, but you're really not dealing with what's going on inside, that's more of a false sense of higher vibrational emotion, right? So it's not really real.
Like spiritual bypassing, in essence, using the
Yeah.
spirituality not to go through the emotion so you don't have to feel it, and which
Mm-hmm.
ends up making you kind of like one removed from on the opposite direction too from the truth, because now it's a false sense, like you were just saying, a false sense of spirituality, and you're just using it to not have to feel those emotions.
Right. And also not making yourself wrong for feeling those emotions, because as human beings, we're emotional roller coasters. We go up and down all the time, right? Most of us. And
I have all week, so
mhm.
it has. It's been like my emotions this week have been just like this. It's just been up and down, just complete.
Well,
I'll be
Right.
good. I'll be a
I
mess.
heard
I'll be
your
good. I'll be a mess.
restoration of integrity. I didn't know what it was around yesterday in specific. Um,
Yeah, you don't need to know, dude, but it's
that
yeah.
was a
Oh,
beautiful.
you were there yesterday, huh?
I was there. I was laying down in one of the beds in the central area, so
Oh, okay.
it was a beautiful beginning to the visionary program yesterday.
Yeah, there was yeah, and it needed to happen. It needed to happen. I got triggered pretty hard yesterday, and I had to get to the root of it and get to the bottom of it and figure out where my judgments were. And so I think I did, and I'm in a better place today. And I had my own poo poo. I had my own shit I had to work through on my own. And so this morning, right back to limiting beliefs. And
It's
after
it's forever evolving, all of it. As we learn stuff, our ego learns what we've learned, or whatever. I'm saying learn as a general sense, but the ego also is ever evolving. And for us to build like habits, it's about like 45 days. And I know that there's various numbers, but you think about it, you kind of have to work on it, your ego in that sense, and create a new pattern, a new habit. And it takes a while, so that ego is going to take whatever you just took and try to figure out, manipulate its way through that again. So it's awareness, really. And once you have that awareness at the right here and now, when you can have that awareness, you can um, kind of clip it in the butt, feel it like real time, really, and go through it and take yourself back to the truth.
Yeah, that's what my therapist told me yesterday. One of the things she said was about retraining your neural pathways. Your brain gets put into a spot, right? You can call it like use earthquaking language, call it domestication, whatever you want to, whatever phrase you want to use to describe it. But your neurons are trained after so many time of doing repetitive things, are trained to be in a certain place and start firing certain signals, right? So
And
she's helping me.
your body's
Yeah.
tuned to that place as well because of that. So you also have
Yeah,
that
so
lesson. Thank you.
she's teaching me to train my brain to go in a different direction, for my neurons to fire out of this out of this direction they've been going and go to a different direction. So she was pretty, but yeah, but that pretty much describes what you just said. I mean, it's like the same thing. It's like retraining your brain to act and think in a different way.
And even then, if we're retraining we're still going to have use of it. And I'm speaking for myself. Like, the brain is a muscle, and we should use it for such, not as much as we use it. And that's allowing more to flow through compared. So if you're retraining it, it's still not allowing it to be. I feel like that's just another program. And if you're running by a program, you're not truly sovereign in that essence. You still have something that you're looking up to, and that ends up being wherever you got that program from, or whatever, however you're reprogramming it. You got something, Sarah?
She raised her hand.
I love that you said that because it's mostly a muscle. Your heart's a muscle, right? Your gut has somewhat of a muscle to it, and so does your brain. And then there's your emotional intelligence, right, which is your heart. And then your IQ, which is your intelligence of the brain. But you also have intuition, which is for the gut. That's like all of your modes of operation. There are 3 different brains that you have because you run off all 3 of them, and they decide the factors of whatever it is that you believe in your life. So your beliefs are running you, and whatever you're believing of your survival, your intuition, right? Like your limiting beliefs kind of come from the gut because of survival mode, right? Like that's kind of where that comes in. So tapping into a different intuition and going towards your gut, actually, and dropping into your gut rather than your heart might help with your limiting beliefs. It also goes right to your root chakra, which can, unlock all of the traumas. That's kind of where we store our trauma. Like every time you're about to get into, like, say, an altercation or a conflict or anything like that, what does your body do? Right in your gut, you feel this intense tightening in your gut. So wherever the energy that comes in, the awareness of what your body's doing is where that limiting belief is stored. That's kind of what I've learned lately about that, working with energy and where it's coming from. Like, oh, I feel a pinch in my heart. That might be something that that's trying to unlock in here, right? Or, maybe my shoulders are feeling extremely heavy because there's a burden that I'm carrying on my head, right? So there's all different ways to have an awareness of where the energy is at on your body. You can actually find out what it is that you're limiting yourself with. If there's a chest pain, or like you're, like choking of the throat, or you get a frog in your throat because you're about ready to cry, that means that you're blocking your voice. Like there's so many powerful things of what your body is trying to communicate with you on what you're storing and limiting yourself with, because it's actually just trying to give you a freedom or the courage to step through something. It's I've been learning that stuff, so I'm really excited about that stuff. So I love that you said that they're muscles and we're stretching our faith muscles, and those are all the components of it. So yeah, thank you for that, Stephen.
You're welcome, and thank you for that. There was something that I wanted to touch on that, but I can't. I was also writing a line, basically like carrying the weight of the world. Oh, is the metaphysical just in general. Like up until 6 months ago, were you trying to say something, Sophia?
I was telling my daughter, shut her music off.
We could have some background music. I didn't really had no understanding of the metaphysical and how like those manifestations happen within our body from that emotional self. And then I went through, because I've, for like, I don't, as long as I can remember, I had this burden on my shoulders. Like I always had pain and weight in my the tops of my shoulder blades. I forget what breakthrough it was. I can't remember which breakthrough it was, but really ever since then I haven't had that pain there, and it was directly related to that breakthrough. I'll have to feel into it later, but so I just wanted to touch base on that metaphysical thing. And
Well, you did mention, sorry for the interruption, but you did mention carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. Maybe it had to do with like the things that you wanted to change in the world. Is that kind of what's like, you wanted to be the change or change the world, but you were carrying it all inside, or what?
I actually I feel it had to do, so it was similar to that, because that's where my intention and what my mission is in life. And at the same time in I was with Melissa and my kids, and I had this responsibility that I had to do. Like it was forceful, everything that I did. So it was putting my energy in that direction, which wasn't something that I wanted to do, and it was carrying the burden and the weight there when I in my soul want to be doing something else, and
Mm,
something that I, personally I feel is a grander, and that's the reason why I chose to leave, is because of that. So it was something that happened, a few months after coming here, having that breakthrough. But it started from choosing what fills my soul, and then that has now allowed, Melissa to do the same thing, and she's shifting, and my kids have had a huge shift here, which I've spoke to on
yeah.
all accounts. So yeah, so that metaphysical thing, I didn't really believe it, correlated it, and now I wholeheartedly believe in it, because I have fruits from it as well. So, Sophia.
Wow, there's so much. It's interesting that you talked about the shoulder thing, because I've had that my whole life too. And as you were talking, I'm like, that kind of resonates with me, right? Because I felt like I had a greater purpose and mission in life, and I've always hid behind other people and other situations. And that definitely rings true to me, that that's possibly what it could be, because ever since I joined Earthwaking, I've been feeling better with my shoulders, like my knots. I always get the knots. I've
Yeah.
always had to get them massaged out of me. I've always got a massage therapist, but then when COVID hit, and I didn't want anybody that was vaccinated to massage me, so I ended up getting like a couple, like a massager, like an electric massager, and did it that way. But I definitely, it's a very interesting topic, because I do energy work, and I was telling Sarah yesterday my story in the master class. So I felt like God wanted me to share this story that I met this lady in Walmart, and God started speaking through her and giving me these messages. And I was like in awe. And I was like, oh my God, like, and it was just such a silly thing. I just threw the lime in the cart because I couldn't figure out if I want to get one or two. And I was just kind of like, one or two, one or two. I was like, draw myself nuts. Flung it in the cart. And as she was walking by, she's like, she started chuckling. She started laughing. She's like, oh my God, that was so funny. And then I wasn't going to say anything to her because, I was like, oh, I'm rushing back. I have to prepare my master class. But then something said, say something back. And then I said, I'm glad I was able to make you laugh. And then we started talking about stuff, and I told her earth waking. And then she's like all about Jesus, right? And she's a Christian. I guess she's a Christian, yeah, because she's very into the religious scriptures, but not radical. Like I felt like she wasn't radical. But she was interesting because she started speaking in tongues, and I don't know how it all came about. It was crazy because we were just talking. And then she started talking to me about how my injury, just the point here. So I have something in my foot, right? So I have this like tendonitis. I've had it for a few years, but on and off, right? And so she said that, she said, well, when you were little, you were injured, and the injury or the energy moved from the top right, down the leg and into the foot. And I was like, she couldn't have known that because that's how I felt like throughout my life. So a few years ago, it was in my leg. And now it's not in my leg. Now it's down my foot. And I don't know if it's the Reiki moving it down or the acupuncture. I don't know. But it's weird because she prayed over my foot. And today I was able to do like a light jog without having to stop and like stretch or move it around. Usually I have to do that. And I was like, whoa, like, I don't know. I just thought that was such a beautiful synchronicity. And I was talking to her about synchronicity. She's like, yeah, they're alignments. And she was basically like telling me like, God, like the angels say they're so proud of you that you're doing, they're really proud of you. You're working so hard. You're spreading light and love everywhere you go. And some things she was telling me she couldn't know. How did she know about this whole injury that got stuck in my leg and into my foot? And, so I was talking about that yesterday in my master class. And there's other couple things I could say, but you guys could go.
Yeah, we'll get to them here in a little bit. That was a beautiful little share.
Yeah.
Let's do the round
Thank you.
robin. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And we like synchronicities has been something that has come up. I had a conversation with Sarah about this divine masterclass, kind of using the selflessly selfish into it, and yeah, we discovered a bunch of synchronicities within that conversation.
And same with the conversation today about manifestation and where limiting beliefs come from. That is going to be the power of my masterclass today. Like how to actually manifest and what the purpose of manifestation is and where limiting beliefs actually come from in a different sense that I found. And it's going to be a really powerful, like interactive masterclass today. And I'm really excited about it.
I'm excited as well. So, in regards to manifestation, I just saw a video of somebody trying to do an example, like speak of a example that anybody, that does not understand manifestation could understand. And I thought it was pretty good. I'm probably not going to do it any justice.
Yes, you will.
He was talking about you take water and and you steam it up. Those water molecules are still there. Like you don't see them. You don't see it. And then as you cool down that environment, then it becomes water again, and you can do the same to creating ice out of it, cooling it down further. But it had, basically that it exists there. You just have to make I guess it's he was stating make the environment create it, but or bring it back. So yeah, I don't think I did it justice, but there's something there. I haven't thought through it yet.
Have you guys ever
That
done
sounds like almost like an alchemical process, like alchemy. More than manifestation. That sounds like an alchemical process, actually, from, you know, taking it from one place to the next, because you're heating up water and then cooling it down and bringing it back down.
You mean
I think
chemistry?
I think manifestation is a vision, right? Like, it's the purpose of manifestation is to dream bigger and open up down the road, like days from now or months from now or even years from now, that it's always going to get better or feel better. So you're putting a positive intention out there, because circumstances are always going to come and they're always going to change for the better or for the worse. Though we have to open up to trusting the universe to take us on the journey and help us become who we were born to be. That somewhere this all became like a spiritual, you know, like Amazon for people. You know what I mean?
feel that-
You
I
can
feel-
basically like order what you want, but doesn't mean that you're going to get what you want. It's opening up the possibility for the evidence of it being shown, because you're putting the energy and the creation process out there to the universe and giving the desire up to the universe. And it's our job to surrender and trust it. But what we're doing is we're creating limiting beliefs if it doesn't happen now. And we're making something wrong about us or wrong about the universe. And that's where limiting beliefs come from in the in-between phase. Because we're saying that we're either wrong or we're not getting this right, or it's not looking the way I want it to look. So now I'm a horrible human being and I'm getting it all wrong and blah, blah, blah. But it's actually just surrendering that it's going to unfold and giving ourselves time and trust and time about, because it's actually going through the process and it's helping you learn how to appreciate the moments that actually got you there. That manifestation, that thought process was the invisible turned into form and made visible for you. And he's going to up level it and make it even greater than what you've ever thought possible. So that's kind of where I was going with my master class today, on that simplicity of what manifestation is. And then we were going to, you know, actually go into the desire and the limiting belief that they have right now. Because the biggest thing is like facing it, looking at it, and then being like, oh my God, like I can totally let that go now. That's a lie. And it's like a whole transformation that happens in an instant, right then and there. And then they put the desire out and the intention out for a new thing to happen, so they can get a new vibration. I'm really excited about it.
I'm excited for you.
I'm excited as well.
I'm excited for you if you guys are going to be there.
Can I offer Sophia something?
Sure,
The
John.
I appreciate that. Sorry, I've got a frog in my throat today.
Me
What,
too.
what does that
So-
mean metaphysically?
It means I was sleeping with my mouth open. This little freaking baby frog hopped in my mouth and climbed down in there and is now hopping around.
Are you speaking your complete entire truth, John? That's your throat chakra. Might be blocked. Like kidding.
And I just talked about that, actually.
Okay.
Synchronicity.
Uh-oh.
Go off on but you need to understand something.
What?
Real quick. I don't know what chakra means.
Okay.
You have to baby step me into this. But what I was going to offer you was that there's some other things going on with your body that could be, and I'm not judging them coming from a place of love, but I've got what's called spondyloarthritis, which is a rheumatoid disease where your body attacks itself. And for me, it's really a back disease, but it also moves into your feet and other places, and it can hop around. It can move around.
What's it called? Rheumatoid what?
Rheumatoid. Well, the big field is rheumatoid arthritis, which is an autoimmune disease. What I specifically have and what you could have is spondyloarthritis, or mine is non-specific spondyloarthritis, which at its root is a back disease. Mine affects me in my feet and my ankles, specifically on me, but it also is in my hip as well right now.
Well,
So,
say that name again with the S. I didn't catch the S one.
Spondylo, SPONDY, I think, yeah, LO, arthritis.
Okay.
And it's, at first glance, it's like, man, Sophia could have some rheumatoid problems going on, which is
Well,
different. You know,
there's something I can offer you, but
Sure.
I don't know. I don't know if you guys want to hear it, but did you
Shoot.
guys know my healing story, my physical healing story yet?
I don't think I've
No.
heard it.
So in February of 2020, so I had all kinds of things going on in my body. Like my body was breaking down. I had pains in my veins. I was having palpitations. I was having extreme panic attacks. I was having chest pains. I was having like you said, arthritic pains. I was having tingly toes. I'd eat chocolate chip cookies and I get tingly toes. So I knew I had a feeling I was pre-diabetic. So I had all these things going on. Then I started having pain in my breast. My girlfriend told me about her second scare of breast cancer. I had a breast cancer scare when I was like in my 30s. And I can't explain it, but I felt like my body was breaking down. I mean, my legs, my knees, my ankles, my feet, everything. Like I was headaches, like, so I'm like, you know what? And I had this vision, and this is probably one of my biggest manifestation stories. I had this vision when I was with my ex-husband of doing an entire body scan on my body to see, you know, like everything in it. Even though I was like, it might be scary, but I had this vision, fantasy, like, you know, non-resistant thought. And so when in 2019, 2020, I just happened to my son's cousin in New York's like, oh, there's this holistic doctor in New York. She does complete body scans. She went with her mother and they had like half a page of stuff. Well, they took me. I decided on Valentine's Day, and it was probably one of my videos. I gave myself a love gift in 2020. I went for my scan. I was like, I'm going to do the whole scan. They went for partial because they said, well, only you can like choose to do partial or full. I was like, I want to do my whole body. I just want to know whatever is going on. So anyway, I ended up coming out of there with 2 full pages of stuff. They only had half a page each, both of them. And her mother's in her like 80 was 80 at the time. So, and a smoker. And so I'm like, there were 3 conditions in there that could have been, that were potentially life-threatening. I'm not going to repeat them because I don't want to put energy into them, but I got pretty scared. Like I was like scared. And so I needed to do something. And she was giving me her special diet, nutritional diet. And my brother and sister-in-law, my sister-in-law healed herself from all these different ailments she had. And she followed medical medium and she swore by him. And there were so many healing stories that were coming from him that I said, you know what? I'm going to take the bull by the horns. I'm going to do the medical medium protocol. And it was basically a full year of basically got rid of 8 no-no foods and just inundated myself with juicing and smoothies and fruits and vegetables as much as possible. And I went gluten-free, dairy-free, alcohol-free, sugar-free. I went, I say dairy-free, I said dairy-free. There were 4 others. Pork, I couldn't eat pork, soy, corn, processed foods, nothing. Like, and so after the fact, like I got so used to the lifestyle that like right now I'm having a detox smoothie because that's how well it worked for me. And I started getting an energy, my energy started going up, my body started feeling cleaner. And I mean, yes, I have this little ailment on my foot that maybe in my eye thing popped up after the fact, but it also could be attributed to the extreme detox I was doing because I was detoxing deep into my organs. And my sister-in-law said she was getting like black marks on her skin. You can have repercussions from detoxing sometimes where everything rises up, like the mercury and the top, you know, like the different metals and mercury and all that, like can go through your body, like the organs, and that can rise up through. And then you have to kind of clean it out and just keep doing it. So that's my healing story. I feel like I can't tell you how much better I feel. So, I mean, I feel like a different person. My body feels like a different body. I mean, yes. And one of the things that John was saying, one of them was the arthritis is creeping up in my body.
Yeah, autoimmune disorders can affect all kinds of parts of your body. And like mine is in remission right now.
And sometimes, especially with rheumatoid autoimmune, particularly arthritis, can come and go. And it's just all that is just an awareness, something that you might think about. That's like, okay, my body's attacking itself.
Right. Right. Yeah. But that's, when I joined Earth Waking was when I was doing that protocol during that time. So I was still kind of going in and out of some health stuff because I felt like as my body was detoxing, I was like still getting sick. They see kind of flu symptoms after you start doing this. So on and off, I'd get sick, like bronchial infections, but it has to work its way out. So anyway,
because your body has gotten it. Thank you for sharing that story first. Your body has gotten accustomed to those levels of things, and that's what you've been putting in it. So you've established it. It kind of goes back to creating that new pattern that we were speaking of earlier on with the mind aspect, and then the neuron pathways. So yeah, creating. I've pretty much cleansed my body in that regards too. It was a slow transition over time. It wasn't like all at once like you did, which would, kind of cause you see more of that flare up or the stuff on the skin and yeah, so
yeah. But my number one thing was celery juice, and the number two thing is detox smoothies.
Detox.
That's what really worked. which is the frozen blueberries from Maine. And if you guys ever want the recipe, let me know.
Yeah, I mean, diet. It's been proven that the diet plays a big part of your health. It just does.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff that and a lot of medical evidence behind it, how diet and how you eat affects your body. The same with your thoughts process. All right, stress is a killer. Proven fact. Stress kills you. Stress is horrendous for your health. So I mean, there's a lot of evidence about that. Being able to work. So I give you 2 thumbs.
Look at this cycle that's created there. When you eat unhealthy and you have the bad mind, and then you continue to eat unhealthy, and you were speaking of it earlier on, Sarah, like our stomach is part of our intelligence. So we're not feeding it good stuff, and it's got all this junk going on in it, and that's putting it right back into our mind, as well as our mind putting it into our stomach, and it ends up just being like a fear cycle.
Yeah.
Speaking of diet, I got a question, Stephen. During the Remember experience, is that all going to be vegetarian?
I'm pretty sure that most of it is. There may be some fish at some point in time. I don't know exactly what the menu is set up for it.
All right. I just didn't know if I needed to get a steak before I went down there. That's all, man.
You probably, yes, I would suggest that, but I wouldn't suggest the steak in Costa Rica if you.
All right.
Why? What's up with the steak in Costa Rica?
The red meat here is just not good, and it's like their cows are hanging off the sides of mountains eating grass.
I'm like, hey, y'all got any monkey? I've never eaten monkey. I'd like to try monkey sometime. Don't we do that?
I have a feeling they're a protected species here.
Chickens.
Oh, man.
I'm not eating a monkey.
I was gonna say, you guys don't eat your chickens that you raise. You just have get the eggs from them, right?
Correct.
I don't. You need to understand something. My dad doesn't raise egg layers because after 37 years of General Motors, he raises gamecocks. He raises fighting chickens. So I get eggs from him, but that's not my deal, by the way. That's not my deal at all. It's not my cup of tea. That's his. So that's what he wants to do and raise. That's fine. But no, we don't eat the chickens. And I do get some eggs. I get fresh eggs, but they're not specifically for egg laying chickens. If that makes sense. Don't get me started on that whole freaking thing, because it's that's its own.
We're gonna get you started down here, man. We got plenty of chickens for you to go pick up eggs for.
I'm actually looking forward to seeing all the agricultural stuff y'all are going on.
Man, it's a continued work in progress, and it's so beautiful to be a part of and see like the transition that's happening. So Mama Carol loves the chickens. Like, she takes care of all 85 chickens and feeds them, gives them water. She says, I'm gonna go water the chicks.
Aw.
So, but she collects the eggs every day. She is just my kids go in and help her every once in a while when they're here.
I wanted to ask, so you said 45 days. Every time I've seen that before, but I've heard that create a new habit, it takes 21 days. I mean, maybe extra time to completely establish it, but I'm just wondering, like,
I've seen
shake
like
and
4
shoot.
different numbers,
You
and
want to
that's
know
kind
how
of
long
the
it starts
average.
to do as a habit? One time, because you're starting it. Takes one time.
Yeah.
Love that.
And then what you were mentioning, Sarah, about the gut. I mean, have you heard of Greg Braden? Braden talks about the heart,
Mhm.
the heart,
Yeah, the
muscle,
heart knows.
the
Yeah, the
heart
heart
and
knows
brain
20.
coherence, and the heart is just like is pretty much your second brain.
It's
And
actually the highest form because it tells your brain 20 seconds before anything. Like that's why you get hairs on your neck, or you'll start getting visions in your mind. You'll start getting like telepathy almost, or a psychic ability, because your heart's trying to communicate with your body to prepare it. And it knows what it's about to face 20 seconds prior to you even seeing it. And it has 44,000 more neurons that actually communicate to tell your brain what to do. And that's why your brain fires off all of the memories. That's your database of memories that's stored from the past. And that's why it's like trying to filter through all the things that you've been through. And it's giving you false information because your gut is like directing your feelings, like, you know, or the tension in your body. And it's signaling your brain too. So your gut and your heart actually have more power than your brain does. Your brain is just storing the memory of what your heart and your gut tell it.
Mhm.
so your gut's your solar plexus, right?
It's like
It's
the
right
root.
beneath
It's like
your
the
heart.
root. Yeah, the root, the
Yeah,
sacrum, and the solar plexus.
because
Yeah.
I had heard that that's where your spirit lives. I don't know for sure, but that's I'm
Your
not sure.
spirit lives in this entire universe.
Well, right.
Where's your
That's your
spirit,
spirit, baby.
John? Is it in your root chakra? I'm new to that as well, man, and it's been
Yeah.
beautiful because we have singing bowls here with all of the chakras, so you can hear the different frequencies for each one of them. So we'll be able to correlate it to music and learn it together, brother.
I'm looking forward to that, dude. Hey, does Kurt have his drum set there? Do you ever jam out with him?
We have a stage set up all the time.
Oh, cool. Oh, that's awesome. He's well, see, that's what I was thinking about, like bringing guitars. Like, well, but if you have guitars down there that are electric, something to jam out with. But Kurt is a phenomenal. You've seen him drum, I have not, but by reputation, he's a phenomenal drummer. And he's out of New Orleans, dude. There are no bad drummers in New Orleans.
No.
Great drummer, dude. So it's like, so I'm really looking forward to maybe being able to jam out with him. I think it would be a lot of fun.
I will definitely make that happen. I forget when you guys are coming down, but I think it's a couple days beforehand. So we'll have.
Oh yeah, Wednesday. Also, I'm running a 12-person band. I don't know what transportation is like for you guys in the village, but on Thursday, if anybody wants to go to the beach, we can all pile in the van and head down to the beach. I'll have that van for the week.
All right,
So
beautiful, man. Thank you for the offer, and I'm sure there'll be some people here that will take you up on that.
Yeah, I was also going to mention that Joe Dispenza talks about it too, like how we become addicted to our emotional responses.
Mm.
Are you guys aware? Like, you've heard of Joe Dispenza, right? And how our body, like, because we're so used to feeling certain ways that it becomes comfortable, and it's the known. That's what we know. So when we create a new habit or a new pattern, we don't know it. It's unknown, so we're uncomfortable with it. So that's the reason why we go into this loop usually our entire lives, mostly. A lot of us, or maybe not us, but a lot of people on planet Earth do this because they just get into this pattern and this habitual pattern of behavior, and they're just comfortable with it, and they don't want to create something new because it's unknown to them. And at least they know, even though they spiral down and feel, let's just say, sad or depressed, but at least they know that that's their emotional response. So they're, that's what they're comfortable with. So that's one of the things that Joe Dispenza talks about too, which is pretty interesting.
It's like comfortable in the cage.
Yeah, and you have to interrupt the pattern, which that's what Earth Waking is all about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Great lyrics, Sarah.
I just wrote that song just now.
I was looking at the format of how it was set up. It's like, okay, I can write to that. I can put melody to this.
Dude, it's so good. It was the story of what we were just doing just now. So I've been getting into like the rhythm and flow of like what people are saying and hearing right in the moment, right in the now. Like I did this last night with the essay for transformation, just listening what people were saying and like feeling into that. And then I actually had a transformation right then and there when it was happening, like where I was listening to and how I was listening. And it was like all right here. And then just now I was listening to what you were saying, Sophia, and I put some of those things in the lyrics of the song. And same with what Stephen was saying a bit. It's really, really good. I've got somebody here fixing my window, so I'm gonna go and answer the door really quick.
All right.
You bag on yourself. He said it's really, really good.
If I'm being honest, it's really, really good.
Yeah.
Well, Sarah's got another confession to make.
I didn't get the song that she sent. I think I'm looking at my settings to see if I can get it where when she messages, it messages everybody.
Find my the message.
I was going to ask you, Stephen, you going through some sort of training? Because I texted you back, and when you texted me, and I said something. I hope your training is going great. When you say something about your training, there was a training you were going through.
Hang on a
or
second.
no?
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there was something specific. I don't think there's anything specific training.
Oh, okay. Because you said you were going to miss the visionary class for 3 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, I was just taking these couple of weeks off. Like I like to separate completely energetically where I don't. Yeah, I just like to have that space and not feel like I need to be. I was still there. I still like laid down and watched it, and but I didn't have to be there.
Right.
Like a part of my obligatory 12 weeks. And there was some other stuff that came up from it because I got sidetracked one night working here in the village doing like organic stuff in the greenhouse, and I missed the coach's call, so I was called out on that. So I was like, all right, I'm specifically going to say I'm not going to be there these 2 weeks.
Right. Yeah, I think sometimes that's necessary. I mean, do you have to keep going? Or does it I'm sure they want you to keep going, but is it like, aren't you asked that?
Yeah, I'm past all like the coaches stuff, and I don't know exactly how. I have a meeting with Kirk tomorrow, so I'm going to kind of talk to him about what the next steps are and where I'm feeling like the vision is for myself and what my journey is, and he'll talk about it as well. I'm really wanting. So I met with Sarah on Monday, and there's been the divine order and like the divine feminine and masculine. I've felt like some very powerful stuff over that recently, and I've been sitting like just just researching it and sitting on it and feeling into it, and I feel like it's going to be very big in where the new earth stuff is, and getting back into a divine order where the masculine is the masculine and the feminine's the feminine, and making that. And in order to do that, because right now most like myself is in the feminine sense and moving into a masculine and vice versa, and that was based off of, childhood. And so I feel like there's going to be a big transition in that, and that's part of my journey. So I uh, am working on doing like a little master class with that, maybe not even little.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, you should be doing a math class with that.
So part of it, it's going to be like going from it's hope to faith to love, and there's a couple other names that I was thinking of, because I was thinking of dream to destiny was another one that I didn't bring up the other day. Sarah, was a name, like a potential name.
I actually like that as a title
It's a good
Yeah.
title.
because it goes with your name.
And that was part of it, is that, we start out as dreamers, which means that we don't see that there's a real possibility, a tangible possibility. So it's like a hope, and so that hope is a light that is outside of you looking, and then in order to get it within, that's when you go to faith, and faith within self, and then divine connection. So it's kind of a transition from that, and in the process also helping people shift into their divine states, whatever that is. And I
Hope
need
to happiness.
That's interesting.
hope to happiness.
Hope to happiness. Right.
I feel that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like my faith has gone through the roof the past few years, especially because of all my manifestations the past 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with health, mostly health related, teeth related, health related. Because that's what's always been important to me: my health, my teeth, staying fit, staying energetic, staying young. So that's always been my top priority. But I like for it to be. For there to be a balance, right? Obviously, now that my health is good, now it's like, okay, I want to bring the finances in, because a lot of my finances went to recuperating my health. Basically, you have to buy all of these things for smoothies and juicing, and then I was on unemployment and I didn't work, but that's what it was. That was my priority. And so it's like, because if you don't have your health, you can't have anything,
Correct.
right? That's where it has to start. So
And most people don't see that. Most people give away their health working for somebody else in that regards, and then use that money to recover their health when they're old and retired. So to have that awareness, that is a very big first step.
My dad, sitting in the other room, he drank and smoked his entire life, ever since I can remember. He's 87 years old. Like, I want to work on my health so I can grow old, be healthy. He smoked and drank his whole life, and he's out there working at age 87.
and
But
how's his energy levels? Is it okay? Is it good?
for an 87-year-old, he's got a girlfriend.
No.
Like, I don't have a girlfriend. I'm like, the fuck?
I'm with you on that, John. I feel that, and I feel like that's also part of our mindset. Like, if we think that stuff is bad, then it's going to affect us negatively. If we feel like it's part of something good, I smoke cigarettes. Actually, that's the time that I go out and meditate. Like, I'm actually more in nature when I'm smoking cigarettes than other times, because I go and I don't know. I'm actually
Oh,
concentrating.
so you're gonna have nicotine there. Okay.
What is it? I don't know if I follow that.
I'm addicted to nicotine. So,
I mean, you can bring some cigarettes if you want. It's not like we're doing a rehab counselor. You can bring your nicotine gum.
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
That was pretty much it. Was that it actually is deep breathing, and somebody even talked to me about, and that's just all hearsay, I guess. It is.
Hey.
There's deep breathing that actually goes into cigarette smoking. When you quit, you actually have a larger lung capacity than before, because then it's cleared out and it's expanded it. So And I'm not justifying it either.
Hey, listen, when we both die of lung cancer, I don't hear any bullshit about how our
There's
attitudes were back, okay? I don't hear,
There's
I don't
actually
none of
a
the
lot of
crap about
positives with
we have
tobacco.
anger
It's other
and
stuff that's not good. They do a lot of in indigenous cultures, they do a lot of healing with tobacco.
if they don't smoke 2 packs a day.
No, they don't, but they actually take shots of like pure tobacco, and sometimes they'll snort it into their noses, like, and it's a ritual because of the high that they get from the tobacco. And it's also a sacred process. When you treat anything sacred and you're utilizing it for the experience of the wisdom that you're going to get and the experience, God is going to provide you with that because you're asking for him to come through it, right? Like everything has that, you know. I believe in that a lot. I just, when you over consume anything, when you know, or think that you need that thing to be able to have that connection again, I think it's just a catalyst to ignite that part, you know, and get you that scent or that gateway or that transition into consciousness, or to, you know, unlock those gates. I'm not saying that it's, you know, don't go and start becoming, you know, a drug addict or anything like that. It's really hard to get out of that phase. But, you know, there is perks to it. There's a lot of things that I learned from being an addict in my past, you know, and I believe that we all are addicted to something, whether it may be love, whether it may be relationships, whether it may be shows, or, you know, people, or, you know, sex, whatever it may be. You're addicted to something. And the way that you get out of addictions is you form another addiction, whether it be, you know, working out or eating healthy or getting into spiritual culture. You can actually get more of a spiritual ego going into that as well, you know, thinking that you're better than people. And that also, you know, correlates with trying to become humble, because you build your faith muscle by appreciating where you've been and where you're going. And, you know, I think that's the biggest piece right now for me that I'm seeing, is the contrast, and in loving the contrast, and that you can provide somebody with the space of love and not have to do anything, not give them advice, not do anything. It's just being there as a support for when they're ready for themselves to open up. They're already watching you. They're already going to see it. They're already going to feel it. And when they're ready, they'll come and they'll ask for it. Don't go chasing the boat anymore. That was a big thing for me, you know, was like, oh, let me offer you something. Let me give you this. No, if they're not asking, maybe they're not ready for it. And maybe you'll spontaneous combust them, and then they're going to go right back into their cycle, you know? So right now I'm like, I'm just waiting until somebody asks for it, you know? So I don't
I
know
was
that.
gonna say, being addicted to love is a good thing, I think.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. It's all good. Being addicted
All
to
good.
something is all good. Even in the past, like my addictions with those things, I wouldn't relate to the people that I do now. I wouldn't be able to help the people that I do now without having gone through what I went through, you know. And I'm helping, you know, those people being able to say like, yeah, if I can do it, you can do it too. You don't have to be stuck in that mindset, because addictions are only symptoms of what it is that you're holding in emotionally. You know, you're either trying to numb it out, block it, not feel those feelings, and you're actually feeling them more, you know. So I don't think that the process of awakening is trying to eliminate certain feelings. I think it's to feel fully and be present to like all your feelings, you know, and how to navigate that. Like I was just telling John this, you know, anger channeled comes out as kindness and the biggest generosity for the world. And I think one of the biggest people that did that and represented change with his anger was Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. You know what I mean? He was so angry, but his anger came out as the biggest kindness and love and appreciation from the people. You have to be for the people, represent change. Don't be afraid to speak up about things. And oh no, it's not my responsibility. Yes, it is. It is the biggest responsibility that we have, to channel our emotions for the right reasons for us. That doesn't mean that it's going to be the right reasons to everyone, but it's going to be the right reason for you. And watch what it does for you and the people that you're raising up in consciousness. That's going to be the biggest thing.
Yeah, what I see from that is contribution. He was like the biggest contribution. He channeled his righteous anger and
Right.
channeled it into contribution. He became a big contribution, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah, and he
and
wasn't afraid, even with what happened with him. He knew his destiny. He knew what he had to do for the people. And he probably knew that he was going to die just like Jesus Christ did. You know what I mean? That was just his, legacy and his journey that he was here to provide for this world to wake up out of. And his consciousness is still here. It's not like it's ever left, but because he would had that such an impact, he's timeless, he's eternal, and he's affecting lives even after he's gone forever.
I was going to say, it reconfirms the Dream to Destiny title right there for Stephen. Dream of
Yeah,
Stephen.
there you go.
Martin Luther King's been one of my like mentors, just because I wrote a song called Dream Today. So in the process of that, I did a lot of like research and just went into the depths of, and I've used songs like that where I research whatever topic I decide to write on too. And he did know that he was going to die. He knew that the CIA or the FBI was looking after, like watching him, and that Edgar Hoover, who was running the FBI,
J. Edgar Hoover.
J. Edgar Hoover.
Mm.
Yeah, so J. Edgar Hoover was like his biggest foe, and yeah.
That's a big foe,
After that
man. That's a
call.
big foe.
J. Edgar Hoover had a big mess.
Yeah,
But he was also a catalyst for you know what I mean? Just like Judas was for Jesus Christ. He knew that he needed Judas to be able to complete the mission to save everyone's soul. That's a big mission, right? And then there's also with the same thing, like there wouldn't be a Martin Luther King without there being a J. Edgar Hoover, right? So you have to appreciate and understand the balance that's here. There's perfection in everything, and God's working for it all. And we've all been all of the positions. Like there's not been one person in our life that we have not been all the positions.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
just about channeling and harnessing what it is that you want to become and having dedication and a devotion towards that dream. But everyone's working for God. He's going to use you. But whether you're going to listen and supply that will through what he wants you to do, you could be able to see it on the other side, or you're going to actually have so much, suffering and pain on the other side. Doesn't mean that you're not going to have suffering or pain on this side. It's just being able to see what the beauty is, why it's there.
I feel
Awesome. Yeah, I feel that too.
That's how I feel now.
The contrast.
There has to be that. And there's such an appreciation for like, thank you for believing in me and seeing me as the light this time. And I'm going to hold that space for you whenever you're ready to come back out. Because maybe my darkness was the thing that set them there. Or maybe it was because I didn't forgive, some things. It's just always having a humbleness and a humility to be like, yeah, me too. And I was a part of that in some form or some way. But that doesn't, it doesn't take away from anything else. It doesn't mean that you're better than anybody else. None of that matters. It's just how you make somebody feel and how you're appreciating and loving in the moment, because you're the one that's carrying yourself home. Nobody else has control over that but you,
I just wanted to add, be grateful and really embrace your low points, because just as low as you can go gives you access to going just as high. And that's what I've noticed in my journey.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
That music in the background is perfect for all these little last comments.
That's my lo-fi hip hop beats.
Yeah.
But that's how I'm like, okay, so like I started to get a recipe for lyrics and lunch because I'm like, oh, I can feel the vibes, I can feel the energy. And I'm like, because I have an intention about every time during class, I'm going to write a song with whatever it is that comes out, like whoever's speaking and something that motivates me in that thing. Sophia's, story really resonated with that, and taking the transformation, which is one of the distinctions of this week, was her transition and transformation inside of that. And it, just kind of putting back to back, like emphasis on certain things. And, it was really beautiful, just what you said. So I was inspired by that.
Talk about my health story.
Yeah.
I didn't see those lyrics though. I think when you sent them, you may have just.
You want me to read them? I'll read them to you.
Sure.
All right. It says, with this pain running through my veins, feel my body breaking down, alone and scared, praying to let it out. I think of you. I think of you. Scan me up, size me down, pour your love into me, pour your love into me. Heal these scattered pieces, make me believe in your love, your love, your love. Slow transition, I switch my position and vision of this place. Transformation isn't a race. Relax in being with these parts. I feel it breaking through. I think of you. I think of you. Scan me up, size me down, pour your love into me, pour your love into me. Heal these scattered pieces, make me believe in your love, your love, your love. I think of you. I think of you.
Like that melody?
Wow. That was awesome. Can you send them to me, Sarah?
I already did, babe.
Try this melody on for size for that.
I was thinking turning up the lo-fi beats in the background and singing along with
Yeah.
it was there.
I can't hear her music.
Pain in my veins.
Yeah, that's what you said. That's,
Pain.
with this pain running through my veins. And I
Yeah,
was
right
like,
here on my wrists. I don't have them anymore. It was scary, scaring the bejesus out of me. I don't have them anymore. Hallelujah.
Did you want to share that melody real quick?
Yeah, I was just sitting here just doing this. I was like, when she was reading, I was keeping pace with her, keeping time, just going. Just a.
I dig that rhythm.
Yeah,
dig the rhythm. I think that's a really,
I like it.
upbeat song. That's like a beer drinking song down by the river.
Sarah just has to come up with a melody. Pain running through my veins.
Yeah.
Sing it.
I don't.
They had some latency.
They're inside of your messenger.
Yeah, I see. With this pain running through my veins, feel my body breaking down, alone and scared, praying to let it out. I think of you. I think of you.
This is so cool.
Fill me up, size me down, pour your love into me right now. I think of you. I'll think of you. Feel these scattered pieces. All right, but that's good for now. Improv.
I'm also, for a second, that was on me. I'll take the blame on that.
Just improv now.
I love it.
I love it too. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I wish I was going down to Remember that we could have jammed it, John, but I'm going at the end of July, so.
There'd be a chance.
Cool.
Yeah, they may end up staying down here, and then when you come down, they'll already
That'd
be
be cool.
living.
Or maybe they can come down in July too. How about it?
Well, maybe I'll buy a house just outside the village.
There you go.
Airbnb it. You can Airbnb it, John. Make money from it.
Yeah, I was actually pricing shit down there earlier, like looking at like if I want to get a house near the village but not in the village, like looking at stuff.
Yeah, well, they have casitas. I'm actually doing an Airbnb like up on the across from the village, like for 2 nights.
All right.
So I'm not sure. Bianca told me where it was. I just Airbnb like for 2 nights.
I know
It's
that
a
they
little casita.
I
Huh?
know that they stayed at one. Her and Anthony stayed at one time when Anthony came up here or something. So it's probably the same one that they were at. But
Yeah. So should be an
Well, thank-
adventure.
thank you guys for that beautiful song, Sarah. Beautifully written.
Thank you, Sarah.
John,
Thank
way
you,
to go
John.
with the guitar, and Sophia just free flowing.
Yeah, it was
Mhm.
easy. Sarah writes beautiful lyrics, and she always does very thoughtful, deep stuff. This particular song, she also had good composition, which made it when I was reading it, I could also go, okay, A A B C A B A B. You know, getting the composition of the song where it makes it easier to play rhythmically. At least for me. At least for me.
Yeah, and I don't know if you want to send over, we'll figure out down the road if you want to send a guitar track or to me or something like Steven has in the past. If you
Maybe I'll
send me
do that while I'm down there in the village where he can record it, and I'll cut guitar on it, and you can
Okay. Yeah,
send it out.
send it over around that
We can
time.
actually get a lot of stuff done there as far as getting stuff recorded. And how are you on lead, Steve?
There's gonna be 3 days that you guys are completely entrenched in the Remember experience. So there's gonna
How,
be 3 days there. I don't know, man. It's tough to do recording during that, so we'd either have to do it beforehand or after.
how are
How
you
about
on?
How
How
about
are
I
you
just
on lead,
transport?
Stephen?
What?
Both two people were talking. Go
Oh,
ahead.
Sorry. No, I was gonna say, how about I transport all you guys in my living room? Then we could just write the song.
All right. That's
Stephen, how are you on lead guitar?
I'm I'm there, but I'm not like tearing it up. I have some other people that play leads for me when I record.
Who else in the village plays besides you and Kurt?
John plays he plays bass
Bass.
when we jam.
I knew it. I knew he played
He's
bass.
actually a guitarist, but he plays punk guitar. Like he was in a punk band when he was
Oh,
growing up.
sweet. I didn't know that. That's badass, dude.
So I was
Love
in a
that.
punk band as a drummer. So me and him jam a bunch of his songs that he wrote when he was a youngin.
I was
That's,
gonna say,
that's cool,
John
man.
still plays the bass,
See,
right?
I figured
Yeah.
I had a Peg plays a bassist from the beginning, like he plays bass.
He only picked up bass to play the songs that I play because I've been doing it a lot.
Well, I mean, if you know guitar, you can play bass
Right.
because the first bass is just the first top strings of the guitar. It's the E A D G, and if you
When
know
you're
if you
playing,
know that,
so I play more reggae and beachy style music. So when we play that, there's actually a lot of it's mostly bass and drums. Actually, guitar is a rhythm instrument. It's just like straight chucks. So he's playing some nice bass lines, and he's picked it up and gotten better since we've been jamming, and is really good at bass. Actually, he's turned into a really good bassist over the last 6 months.
I cut my chops on alt rock, and then I transferred into country.
That was
So those are kind of like my two, like like Candlebox stuff. Just
yeah, I remember that song.
cover me, yeah, when I walk alone.
We have a couple songs like that. That was kind of my era as well. Not Candlebox, but so
Sweet.
appreciate you guys. Thank you for the beautiful song. I'm honored.
Love you guys.
Love
Love
you guys.
you.
See you here in a little bit, Sarah. I'm assuming to see you guys as well, Sophia, John, maybe.
Yeah, I'll be there. Looking forward to it.
All right, likewise. Love you
Yay,
guys.
excited.
See you
Love
guys.
you
See
all.
you in a little bit.
Thank
You
you.
soon. Bye.